Hi, welcome to Real Torres. My name is David, and today I'm actually going to take you guys out with me, and we are going to do an inspection today for Opendoor. Now, this isn't the first inspection that I'm going to be doing for Opendoor, and there's a little differences between how Opendoor does their inspections that I've noticed compared to like Redfin, because I have worked for Redfin before as an associate agent, and I've gone out and did the inspections for them. But this time it's going to be a little different. I did one other before, and that one went pretty smooth. Mostly just took my camera, well, my phone, took pictures of the property just so that they can see the condition that the house was in, and took pictures of anything that needed to be looked at a lot closer. So the reason why I'm making this video is because, well, there's not a lot of videos I've seen out there with um, agents showing agents for Opendoor putting out videos and just showing I guess some of the ins and outs of showing a house with Opendoor. And then since I also did it for Redfin before, I can kind of do a compare and contrast, and even talk about which one maybe I prefer, or just like the pros and cons of each one. So yeah, in just a moment we're going to head on out, and this is actually going to have to drive almost an hour to this property and then do the inspection. The customer will not be there. So far all the inspections I've done, which is only one other one, it was just myself, just me, no customer. So maybe that's how they do it. I think there are other times when the customer will be present. Just kind of depends on the customer. So far, both times that I'm doing this inspection is for an investor, so they're not spending their time coming out looking at the house for the inspections. They're just sending me out to inspect the house for them, come back and make sure that everything is how it's supposed to be. So the one for today, they're actually closing on the house tomorrow. So they should have already done all their preliminary inspections and everything. This is just to make sure that the previous owner has moved everything out of the house and the house is ready for them to take possession of it. So should be a fairly easy inspection to do. I don't have to take nearly as many pictures as last time. Last time I took about 80 different pictures. It was like a 3-story house, well, 2-story house with a basement, full basement. And there were several issues in the house, and I took plenty of photos for it. So this time should be not nearly as bad as that one. So yeah, I'll be heading out there. And one thing that I like a lot with Opendoor is that you are paid hourly as opposed to just a base fee. Now, again, if you take longer on inspections, that's going to, you're going to make, or longer in general, you're just going to make more than if you do it as quickly as possible. And I'll be putting out other videos as well, discussing about what I do myself to try and make as much as possible with Opendoor, as opposed to with Redfin, where they give you like specific pricing for however many houses are in a specific tour, or a base fee also for the inspections that you go and do. So, and of course the prices all vary per marketplace. So you may be in California, you may be in Florida, Texas, somewhere else, and the pricing is going to be a little different, or the pay is going to be a little different than it is here. So I won't necessarily say what it is, because it's not necessarily going to be the same where you are. But the way Opendoor does it, they are still paying it on an hourly basis. One thing I like is that I can start my clock the moment I'm leaving the house, drive all the way to the property. And I believe I mentioned before, this property is going to be nearly an hour away. Then do the inspection, which generally takes between 30 minutes to an hour for a full inspection. And then I get to drive home Again, it'll be about another hour. And then I also have to upload the videos, or not videos, upload the photos and send it off in an email so that everyone has what they need for the closing tomorrow. So that's cool. All right, guys. So next time you see me, I'm going to be at the property, and we'll just pick up from there. All right. See you in just a minute. All right, guys. So we're at the property now. So I'm doing this inspection for Opendoor, and what I'm going to be doing is going through the house as well as around the outside, taking pictures for the customer who's actually already submitted the offer. This is like the final inspection that we're doing, and the customer's not with me, so this is my second time doing an inspection with Opendoor, and each time it's just been me. So what I'm just doing is taking the pictures and just making sure what the customer wanted to cover is covered and everything's done right. All right, give me a minute and let's go on inside. All right, guys. So one of the things that the new owner is looking for in this inspection is that the previous owners have completely moved out all their stuff and everything. They want pictures to verify that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture in every room showing the emptiness and that none of the stuff has still left there. So I'm in the living room currently. I'm just going to go ahead and take a picture showing that it is empty. So moving on. No light there. So let me take another picture here. So I took a double picture there of the laundry room and dining room, showing no stuff there. Now the kitchen. Ow. Alrighty. That happens from time to time. So weird place to put a light switch all the way down there. Alright, so there is still some stuff down here, but it's paint and floor tiling, so I'm just going to take a picture showing that that's still down here. So the new owner may want to keep it, I don't know. One thing I also like to get in these is the data off of the water heater and the air conditioning unit outside. That way they know when it's last been serviced and everything. So. Oh, I gotta turn off that light again. Back patio. All right. So that's everything for the main floor in the garage area, oh, except for this coat closet. All right. I'm going upstairs into the bed area. Bedroom number 1 empty. Bedroom number 2 empty. Alright. One thing also, just double checking, make sure there's no damage or anything showing as well. If there is, I'll take a picture of that just in case the previous owner was supposed to fix something and they didn't. Let's see here. Okay. You just see a little scratch in the paint, which is really nothing, but just a little heads up to the new owner. All right. Now, I'm just gonna pull it down and look into the attic real quick. Let's see here. Should be fine. I don't see anything near the edges. Indicate there's stuff up there. So a little trash fill. I'll just throw that out, a little outside there. All right. And just doing it once over, again, make sure I didn't miss anything. Like this beam up top, how it looks kind of detached. Zoom in on the camera. And the other side. Just in case that was something that's supposedly fixed. All right, so that appears to be everything that we needed to get done today for this inspection. A relatively small home. So yeah, basically, like I said, this is my second inspection that I've done for Opendoor. Almost said open house, but no, Opendoor. So I've recently started with Opendoor. Previously, as mentioned before, I did work with Redfin as well as an associate agent. And there's a lot of differences, like when it came to doing inspections with Redfin. I did a couple. I did a final inspection where the homeowners came in. All I had to do was open the house and lock it back up when they were done. They were measuring stuff basically right before their closing. And then another inspection, basically all I did was just, again, show up, unlock the door, and let the inspector actually go in and check the house out. And that's really all you do with Redfin. You just have to make sure you're there, available to whoever's doing the inspection. So far with Opendoor, it's always been myself taking pictures, making sure everything is how it's supposed to be. ready for the closings. So like again, this one was real simple. Just make sure everything is out. So then again, I just took some extra pictures for things that just as a little heads up for the new homeowner, so that they'll know just in case that they said that's supposed to have been fixed, then they can raise that complaint before the closing. So once I get home, I'm going to upload these pictures into an email and send it off to the Opendoor buyer agent, and then he will take it from there, sending it to the new owners and figuring out what they need to do at that point, if everything's good, ready for closing. All right, so I'm just gonna do once more around the outside as well, taking a couple more pictures, and that's really it. All right, guys, so I'm back home, and it was a nice, interesting experience today. So again, just as a recap, I had drove right about an hour to the property. I got there a little early, kind of just walked around the house a couple of times, and then I started shooting, and you saw me there taking the pictures going through the house, and then I took some more outside the house as well. Spent some more time that wasn't in the video, and then drove another hour back home, uploaded all the pictures. It took me 4 different emails to get all the pictures sent, since each email is limited to 25 gigabytes or whatever of data. So yeah, it took me about 4 emails to get it all sent, and I am basically done. So the total time it took me to finish everything was right around 3.5 hours. So that is what I put down when I closed it out in the system, in the little dashboard that you have. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So with Redfin, it was really different in doing it. So with Redfin, of course, everything's pretty much done through the app. You're basically just told when to show up. All you do, like I mentioned before, is just unlock the door and then just make sure you're readily available in case the inspector needed you for anything, or if the homeowners were, or the new homeowners were doing their own personal inspection, just being nearby, just keeping an eye out for them, things like that. But you don't really need to be there in their business. With Opendoor, it wasn't like that at all. I was doing running through doing the inspection, and in this one, it was really simple. Again, all it was making sure was that everything was cleaned out and everything was ship shape for the closing tomorrow. Now, I know I mentioned earlier that I wasn't going to talk about the pay, but I decided, it's only fair, I guess, if I do mention it, even though it is different per market. Here, it is $25 an hour with Opendoor. With Redfin, it's broken down. You're paid a base based on how many houses that you toured. So if I remember correctly, with the inspection, it's like $100 with Redfin, and you're blocked out for 2 or 3 hours. I forget exactly how much it was. And it doesn't really matter which kind of inspection you're doing. It's just you're blocked out for that time frame and you're paid $100. If it does go overtime, you have to submit a request to be paid extra money. With Opendoor, it's different so far, since it's paid hourly instead of base pricing per like showing and per inspection. It's a little easier to keep up with. So I get to start my timer when I leave the house. So it took me an hour to get there. It took me a while to work it. It took me an hour to get back, and it took me a while to first upload all the pictures into my computer, and then sending them off and making sure that they were received. And of course, there's other things like scheduling the actual inspection and dealing with the agents and everything like that also gets counted into the pay. So when all said and done, it was a total of 3.5 hours that I spent on this tour or on this inspection. So when we compare that to the $100 for the inspection for Redfin, it actually does come out a little less, $25 an hour. So for 3 hours, that makes $75, and then half hour more. So that's half. So it's what 12 and a half. So that is 75, 85, 86, 87 and a half. Yeah, about 87 and 50 cents today, which isn't bad when you compare to working 9 to 5, around minimum wage, and you only making about half of that, I think. At least that's what it feels. So I've done jobs like that where I worked a full day, full 8-hour day, and I did not make $80. So doing that in just 3.5 hours, I think that's great. And really, it kind of balances out, and maybe even a little better with Opendoor, I think, when you compare not just inspections, but when you throw showings in the mix as well. And because with Redfin, I think it ends up being, at least here, if you just show one house, it's just $35, unless it's after 6 o'clock or maybe 5 o'clock. Then it jumps up to a premium pricing of $60. So if this was just a regular house showing, which it can be very easy, or a regular house showing ends up taking 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Again, if I have to drive an hour, I have to arrive early to prepare the house for the customers to tour the house for about 30 minutes, depending on the size of the house, 15 to 30 minutes, and then drive home and then close it out with notes and everything. I mean, you could easily get to 3.5 hours. So if this was, for instance, because it was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it would have been a $35 flat fee with Redfin. But with Opendoor, again, 87 and a half. So I think it kind of sways a little bit more towards Opendoor and their pricing versus Redfin and their pricing, even though, yeah, the inspections are higher, but they're also rarer to get. I've been doing Opendoor now for 2 weeks, and I've already had 2 inspections. With Redfin, I was with them for several months, and I got to do 1. So, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So, it was an interesting day. It was very easy. It was an easy $87.50. And yeah, so if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I always say, please keep it clean. And if there's any questions or any other kind of video that you want to see on this channel, leave that as well in the comments, and I'll try to answer every single question that comes through. And if you have some interesting ideas on videos, then I'll try and incorporate those as well. All right, guys, so don't forget, hit the like button if you liked it. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And this is David with Real Torres. See you guys later.